Read more from what we're just learning from Mitch McConnell's private thoughts, private and not shared publicly until today. Shortly after Trump announced his 2024 presidential campaign, Merrick Garland, who Biden had named Attorney General, announced he had appointed a special counsel to investigate Trump's actions connected to the 2020 election and the January 6th insurrection. McConnell said with a faint laugh that surely would have angered his critics that Garland was now in the right position. From the start, Mitch McConnell thought the charges brought by federal prosecutors against Donald Trump had merit. Quote, I think it was the single most in a category by itself of how wrong all of it was. And there's no doubt who inspired it. And I just hope that he, Donald Trump, will have to pay a price for it, McConnell said. Less than a month after special counsel Jack Smith brought the charges, McConnell said of Trump in an interview with me, quote, if he hasn't committed indictable offenses, I don't know what one is. Tim.
That just enrages me. I'm laughing to hide the inner rage, Nicole, because it's just the thing. Mitch McConnell could have done this. If he believed that Donald Trump committed indictable offenses, he could have convicted him in the Senate, and we wouldn't all be in this place right now. And so, we've ranted about this a lot, but I think it is really shameful how many people have fallen down on their duty who knew better. Starting on January 6th, but going all the way up till today. I know, just sitting there watching that Cuban segment as we lead into the vice president's speech. And I mean, Mark Cuban is putting his money where his mouth is. Like, Liz Cheney is putting her money where her mouth is. We have 330 million people in this country. Like, why are two people carrying so much weight? Nothing against anybody on this panel, on this network, but, it is Mitch McConnell could have prevented this. We could have had an election that was a normal election where there were ideological disagreements between, I don't know who the heck knows, somebody like Ron DeSantis and somebody like Kamala Harris. And I would still supported Kamala Harris in that situation, but I wouldn't be worrying that there were going to be people charging the Capitol waving Nikki Haley flags or Ron DeSantis flags, and they could have done that, but they were all too cowardly to do it. And every new revelation shows us that they knew better. And I guess I'm also particularly hot on this today because I interviewed Bob Woodward this morning about his book. And obviously, you've been discussing on the show the Mark Milley comments about how big of a threat Donald Trump is, how he's a fascist. Well, Woodward said to me on the podcast this morning that Jim Mattis has emailed him since the book came out, telling him that he agrees with the concerns. So it's like, I'm glad he sent the email, but it's like, I think that there are a lot of people that are falling down on the job. Mitch McConnell might be on the top of the list, but there are a lot of folks. It's a long list.
Well, let's explain why, though, because the only people treating their supporters like stooges, I mean, it's not Vice President Kamala Harris. Bret Baier tried to bait her into attacking Americans who think Donald Trump is the answer, and she wouldn't go there even for a nanosecond. That's not who she's running against. She's not running against any voter, not Trump's voters, not any voters. She's running against Donald Trump. And the reason that Donald Trump is on the menu is because Mitch McConnell and, frankly, J.D. Vance, who view Trump more harshly than either of us do. And that is hard to do, Tim. But maybe when you've given up your soul and other male body parts, maybe you have that kind of hatred for Donald Trump. I don't know. I didn't do it for a nanosecond, but maybe that's what it does to a man, to have to be subservient to Donald Trump when your personal belief is that if he hasn't committed indictable offenses, I don't know what an indictable offense is. So to treat your supporters, I mean, Mitch McConnell's an elected official. J.D. Vance represents people in Ohio. To treat them as dumb stooges that you can fool by campaigning for and voting for someone you personally find so odious, that's the most cynical thing I've ever seen in politics.
Yeah, I mean, it's nihilism. Mitch McConnell put out a statement today. I don't know if you saw this, defending himself, saying, I don't have it in front of me, but essentially the statement said, Lindsey Graham and J.D. Vance have said worse about Trump than I have, but now we're on the same team. It's just pure nihilism. It's just like, my words don't matter, my beliefs don't matter, ideology doesn't matter, character doesn't matter, the Constitution doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is red team, blue team. And it is just like, cynical doesn't even quite capture it, right? It is just the depths of nihilism. We're in the Dante's Inferno of nihilism from these people, and it does. Obviously, it does something to your soul and your personality, and it makes you gruffer. And you see this with JD Vance, and he's just so mean now and joyless, because if you have to go that low, it has that effect on you. But unfortunately, like, it's working. Unfortunately, it might not work ultimately, hopefully in a few weeks, but it's keeping enough people in the tent to keep Donald Trump viable. And that's why those are the ones that I have the lowest opinion of.